What is going on, YouTube? We are back with our week one college football reaction. I'm your host, Dalton Lee, and we had a tough week. We had a tough week picking games, but you know what? When you got week one and you got three top 10 matchups, you rolled dice a little, and I felt like we did, and I felt like our rolls were good, but I think it was more shocking to anybody than dice rolls. So I'm gonna go over recapping all the games I talked about, any other little things that happened over the weekend. And then at the end of this, I'm gonna briefly talk on my prediction for Eagles Cowboys because this is gonna come out Wednesday. That game's being played Thursday. I won't post again until Friday. So let's get into it. First off, Texas Ohio State. Obviously, we took Texas in that, and that is not what happened. Um, Ohio State came to play. Ohio State came to play. That defense. Matt Patricia proves that yet again he still knows how to coach a defense. I mean, when you're with Belichick for 20-something years, I mean, you should know how to coach defense. And he had Arch struggling. He had Sarkisian struggling to call plays to build up confidence for Arch. I mean, Arch had one pick, arguably could have had two, but when you got your quote unquote star player making throws that or missing throws that are layups. When you're throwing a ball 5 yards in front of the defender in the dirt, like what is going on? I felt like early on Arch got rattled. Then after that it was just snowball effect all throughout the game. Up until about the last 2 minutes when Texas had a chance to tie the game. That's when I think Arch looked his best, 2 minute drill. It's just unfortunate couldn't get it done, but I wasn't super ecstatic about what we saw out of Arch, but I think he'll still get better. I mean, for your first ever road start to be in the shoot, what more do you expect? What more do you expect? So I think he's going to build on it and he's going to get better as the season goes along. Julian Sand actually, he didn't do nothing crazy, but he impressed. He was efficient. He was on time. Made a couple good throws. He threw a beautiful jump ball to the left corner for Carnell Tate, who made a great play to go up two scores, kind of late in the third, early in the fourth. It was a nice little back and forth game. But I felt like play calling offensively on both sides was a little safe. I feel like nobody was willing really to take any type of risk. I mean, Sarkisian did a little bit on the one drive they did end up scoring on, calling a reverse, little end around, and then a little bootleg for Arch. So I was like, hey, he's trying to get creative. And I feel like that's when Arch is more comfortable when he gets to play make a little bit. But I think overall we expect more growth out of both quarterbacks. I think both have potential to be really good. But Arch's got a lot to prove if he's going to continue to be this quote unquote preseason Heisman favorite. Obviously, final score was 14-7 Ohio State. Still a heck of a game to start our day. Noon. Noon. I mean, that's just a great way to start. Then we roll over to 3:30. We got Bama in Tallahassee playing Florida State Seminoles. I picked Bama to roll them. Number 8 in the country, visiting a team that won 2 games. I expected FSU to be better, but I was like, Bama's got us all day. God, weren't we all wrong? I mean, is that potentially the biggest upset already of the year? Not only did FSU beat Bama, there wasn't a moment except Bama's opening drive where I felt that FSU was in control of the game. I mean, Bama couldn't stop the run defensively, whether it was coming from the running backs or coming from quarterback Castellanos. Couldn't do anything. And then offensively, couldn't really get a rhythm going. Ty Simpson's looking lost out there. That offensive line is looking atrocious against that defensive front. I mean, I gotta give props to FSU. FSU came and played their tails off in that game. Um, I think the biggest thing coming out of it is what is going to happen with DeBoer. In his second year, he's already lost 4 unranked games. Saban lost 1 in his last 200-something games since 2006. I mean, it's just DeBoer's got to get it together. I don't know if it's necessarily him. I don't know if they're just not able to recruit. I don't know if it's bad play calling, but they need to get it together fast. I would say this is panic territory for Bama. I mean, just off the sheer doubt of your schedule only gets harder. You're in the SEC. And you went and lost to a 2-win FSU team from last year. Granted, this team is better than last year's team. But still, I mean, just to get dominated, both sides of the ball. Bama didn't have a sack. Bama didn't have a sack the whole game. I mean, that just tells you about it. I mean, Castellanos, I think, attempted 20-25 passes. So, I mean, he was dropping back a good amount. And on design quarterback runs, I mean, I feel like they were never really losing yards except penalties. That was the only thing that really kept Alabama in the game. But, again, we picked Alabama, and FSU shocks the country. But, you win some and you lose some. So we just have to build off of this and see where we can continue moving forward. And same day as the first two, we got Battle of the Tigers. We got the Baton Rouge Bengals going into Death Valley, one of two, South Carolina to go play Clemson. And we picked Clemson. I mean, home team, number 4 in the country. I thought Klubnik was a little better than Nussmeier. I still think that may be true to this point, but there wasn't really a whole lot of offense in this game. I mean, 17-10, LSU won. Defenses played out of their mind, especially LSU's against Clemson. I feel like anytime run pass, I mean, there was 1 or 2 guys in the backfield. That front 7 was out of their mind. Clemson's defense, they were the only reason they were in the game. They were the only reason. I mean, Clemson had 1 nice drive, scored a touchdown on. But outside of that, they weren't really super consistent. And I understand these are 2 great teams. Great teams. I mean, there's potentially 5 NFL players on each side. Offense, defense for both teams. So great teams. So I don't think this necessarily is going to hurt either, especially Clemson for the loss for the playoff. But kind of gives us a little early idea of like these teams are both playoff teams. We could see them in it. This could be the first round matchup. I'd be ecstatic. First round matchup, get a rematch, especially after the nice little back and forth between Dabo and Brian Kelly. I think Dabo doesn't really know how grading skills work to call the person that beat you a 65 and you were a 58. I mean, I mean, it's hard to argue when you lost. And here you're just kind of looking for an excuse. Not saying either team really played great, but it's a weird scapegoat to make about losing your week 1 matchup. I mean, it's one thing if you pulled, Alabama and lost to FSU at home. But, I mean, you lost to a top 10 team. There's nothing to really complain about, per se. One of 2 games we actually got right. Sorry, my notes are not cooperating with me. One of 2 games we actually got right. Syracuse in Tennessee, neutral site in Atlanta on Saturday. This was also at noon. Picked Tennessee all the way. Tennessee looked good. They didn't look great. Syracuse. Now, I don't know if this means Tennessee is not great or if Syracuse is better than what we think. Syracuse was in this game for quite a bit. They went down big early, clawed their way back. Looked solid. They were moving the ball, playing solid defense. I was impressed with Syracuse, but they were also inconsistent. They would have two or three straight drives where I'm like, okay, they're moving the ball well, and then they'd go cold. So I think they need a little more consistency. I think they need to be better running the ball, but that defense looks atrocious. It looks atrocious, especially against a Tennessee team that's very run heavy, very screen heavy, RPOs. I mean, they're hitting you with all kinds of motion, and it's kind of aggravating, but that's what keeps their chains moving. Continued first downs, keeping drives alive, allowing scores. I don't really think Tennessee is a major threat for the SEC, but they're still proving that the SEC is what controls college football. But it's gonna be interesting seeing how the rest of their season plays out, especially after the whole Nico thing, which he didn't really have a great opening debut. So I don't know if they really regret it. Just a couple little throwaway points. Georgia dominated, but what do we expect? They were playing Marshall, so I mean, it got ugly quick. So I can't really gauge if they're really that good or if it's just they're better than Marshall. I mean, Georgia should be better than Marshall. They handle business, which they should, but Gunnar Stockton played all right. That run game looked all right. I got to see him play against somebody who I'm like, they got potential NFL bodies. Marshall doesn't. Same thing with Penn State. Penn State, I think, still has the best running game in college football. Best two backs in the league. They just ran the damn ball over and over and over against Nevada. Nevada couldn't do a thing about it. Couldn't do a thing about it. But again, it's Nevada. I have to see them do it against not even like a Michigan State, just a team that I'm like, okay, it's more respectable. I mean, this is Nevada. Nevada's not a football program. The second game we actually got right that we talked about last week, South Carolina, Virginia Tech. This was the Sunday 3 o'clock game in Atlanta as well. Same place that Syracuse and Tennessee played. And South Carolina won the game. It was kind of an ugly, weirdish game. I mean, at one point, score was like 7-2. Like, South Carolina scored an early touchdown. And I was like, oh, it's about to be a blowout. And then somehow Virginia Tech got a safety. And it was like 7-5 at one point. It was a weird scoring game, but there was a good while. Virginia Tech was right there in it, but the offense looked bad. Drones, who I was expecting a potential jump in, nada. Looked very inconsistent. South Carolina's defensive line was devouring and killing him in terms of limited pocket presence. He had to make quick throws, and guys weren't really making plays. But the same can be said on South Carolina's side. Granted, Lenoris, I thought still looked impressive, especially with his legs. He looks like his accuracy has gotten a little better, especially on the deep ball. He hit a beautiful post route deep for a touchdown. Beautiful ball. But South Carolina also has some drops. Nick Harbor, I think, had one or two. Tight end had one or two. So that would be something I keep an eye on. And that offensive line. That offensive line for South Carolina, I think, is going to make or break this team. I think they got the playmakers to get it done. I think they have a defense that can stay competitive in the SEC. But if they can't block for Lenoris or the run game with Faison, they're not going to have a chance. Now, I feel like they have all the playmakers to do it, but you win games in the trenches. Defense side, I think they're fine. I think they can handle anybody on the defense side, at least in that front four. It's that offensive line unit I am worried about. I am nervous about for them, mainly because I got a friend, a South Carolina fan. It'd be nice to see them get in the mix. I thought they had a chance last year, but I think this year's their best chance if they handle business. And then the last big game we talked about, Notre Dame, Miami. It was another classic. just straight up back and forth. You had you had what I thought was going to be great offense versus great defense. And really what it turned out to be was kind of more of a back and forth ish on both sides of the ball. It's a 27-24 finish. Miami gets the win at home, and I was kind of shocked. I think this was probably my biggest shock was the fact that Carson Beck actually kind of looked like Carson Beck of 2 years ago. He looked like he was decisive. He knew where he was going with the ball. He was able to make reads, get the ball to playmakers. He looked like the Carson Beck we saw 2 years ago. Granted, I don't know if he's going to stay consistent like this, but if you're doing this against a Notre Dame defense, I would believe that if you can do it against Notre Dame defense, you can probably do it against a lot of other teams, but it is just one game. He made one throw that it wasn't really, the play wasn't really because of him. It was because of that receiver, Daniels. I mean, you kind of thrown up in the double coverage late in the half, just trying to make a play, and Daniels just goes up, one hand snags it. Might be catch of the year. I mean, that was just a phenomenal play across the board. That was Beck surprised me. And that defense, Miami's defense at times, really phenomenal. Only had like one or two busted coverages throughout the game. One did lead to a score that kind of tied it up late. But that defense looked like it has made strides compared to the defense of last year. And that's, I think, going to be big for Miami for any type of chance of winning the ACC and being able to potentially get into the playoff and compete. Now let's talk about Notre Dame. Notre Dame, I had a lot of question marks about this offense coming in. I figured they were going to run the ball. I was questioning more so the outside weapons, the quarterback play. How are they going to make this work? And they went with a younger guy, CJ Carr. Wasn't super familiar with him, but he came out, and I thought he really impressed for his first start. He made one throw. He was rolling left, looking middle field. That was a no look to the corner for a touchdown. I was like, nice little 15, 20-yard throw. I was like, okay. Got a little moxie, a little swag go with him. I was like, this guy can ball. Granted, they did go down 24-7 early, but they stayed persistent. They clawed their way back. Tied the game up with 4 minutes left. That defense kind of crumbled right there at the end. I mean, you get two defense penalties on that last drive. I mean, what do you expect? The only question mark I have about this offense, two questions. A, can Carr stay consistent in being a potential game elevator / game manager? If this Miami defense is as real as they looked, I think they got a good shot. But can we talk about Jeremiah Love? Got a running back that majority of us would believe to be one of, if not the best running back in college football. He got 10 touches the whole game. The whole game. This guy, arguably, had Genty not been playing last year, might have been the best running back in college football. And he's back, and he only got 10 total carries. I mean, what are we doing? Now I understand the run game wasn't working early, but I feel like he's a nice little backfield catcher. But I feel like the only time they ever threw him the ball, it was like wheel routes. I'm like, you've thrown the same wheel route to him 3 times. It's not going to get open any more times. You got to switch it up a little bit for him. I would say probably get the ball into his hands a little more, but some of the receivers did impress for Notre Dame. I feel like they actually had some solid playmakers. Again, I think these are two teams that can absolutely be in the playoffs, and this could be a playoff matchup as well. I mean, it had that feel back and forth. It was kind of a clean game in the first half, not a whole lot of penalties. Second half, got a little, I think I was a little tired, little worn out, especially with that Miami humidity. I mean, Notre Dame ain't ready for that. And I think that's what ultimately ended the game for them because that D line could not get off the ball. They couldn't get stopped, especially late game. So all in all, we went 2-4. Um, that's week one for you. I mean, especially when you got so many top 10 matchups going on week one. We don't know what the other teams are going to look like. We're flipping coins here. Um, Obviously, we're going to try and be better. We're going to try and be better. Bad weekend for gambling, too. Bad weekend for gambling. But we're going to get it better. We're going to do our homework. We're going to build on this, learn from it, and move on. Now, it's the end of college football. We're going to pivot to the Thursday night game. Week one NFL football is here. It's like this is Christmas in September for a lot of people in the country, especially me. I cannot wait for this game. I do got questions though. For one, on last Thursday, kind of late in the day, I'm on the way to ECU to go visit some friends right before their matchup against NC State. And the news breaks. Micah has been traded to the Packers for Kenny Clark and 2 first-round picks. I was kind of surprised because it kind of came out that Jerry wouldn't do business with the Packers, but he ended up making a deal with them, which really is not a bad deal. I mean, I'm not a big fan of Kenny Clark, especially because he wasn't super healthy last year. But when he's healthy, great run stopper. And you get 2 first-round picks. I mean, you can build up a lot of places on that defense for sure. I think defense is a little questionable, especially at D-line now in linebacker spot. But, or you go get a guy, get extra picks. Or, hypothetical here. I don't know how everybody feels about Dak. Maybe you move off of Dak to get one of these more generational talents that are in the top 5. Who knows? You can make all kinds of moves just because Dak's kind of expensive. And I don't know if Dak's ready to carry the load to winning games. Fantasy-wise, he's going to be great because they're going to be down every game. So if you got Dak, CD, or Pickens, you're ecstatic that Micah got traded because you're like, they're going to throw the ball. They're going to have to. And I don't know if they can run the ball. Normally, their bread and butter is running the ball, but I do not like their running back room. Outside of Blue, rookie running back Blue, big fan of him. I think he's got more upside, but they're going to run with Sanders and Javonte Williams. So we'll see how they do. I'm worried about that offensive line, especially against this Eagles defense. It's ring night. They're getting their rings. It's in Philly. I mean, what better game to start it? Classic rivalry over the last 10, 15 years. I'm interested to see what's going to happen with this Eagles team. You got Saquon Barkley, who was arguably the best running back in the league last year. Should have broke the record. In my mind, he broke the record, even though technically he didn't. Because he would have against the Giants week 18. Jalen Hurts, Super Bowl MVP. Really efficient. I'm excited to see how he's going to perform again with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith. I mean, that offense is still just diabolical, especially with that offensive line. Their run game's going to be good. Passing game's going to be there. I mean, they're going to put up points. I'm not worried about the offense a bit. What I am worried about is what kind of impact or is the offseason going to have on this defense. Couple backup guys and starters left. C.J. Gardner-Johnson gone. Their 2 backup D tackles gone. They traded an edge rusher. He's gone. So I'm interested to see how that's going to take effect on this team. And Darius Slade. They lost Darius Slade too. So I'm interested to see how all this is going to play out. But Howie Roseman drafts well. They develop well. I think they still got one of the younger, better defenses in the league. I still think initially they're going to be stout, but I'm worried how they'll look mid to late season. Once they start getting worn out, injuries maybe. It's gonna be interesting to look for them, but I still think all in all, defense is gonna lead the charge with that running game that opens up play action game. I got the Eagles winning this one. I'm gonna say it's more of a low scoring game, 24-14 Eagles, only because not a whole lot of the starters played the preseason. Now we're actually going to be seeing full playbooks. We're going to see who's more locked in. I'm going to also say the Eagles just because they have a little more continuity going for them on offense versus the Cowboys as of right now, and I trust their defense more. But I am excited for Thursday. This is going to be great. It's going to be great. We're about to get 4 straight days of football. We got NFL on Thursday. We've got some early college games Friday. Full slate of college games Saturday. Full slate of Sunday football. And then we got Monday Night Football. I mean, it's the greatest time of the year. We're getting football just thrown out at us. I'm ecstatic. I cannot wait. I cannot wait. Especially for Panthers. But we'll get into that in a later video. So, I'll probably have a week 2 college football prediction video out tomorrow. Or I might combine it in on Friday with my NFL one, but I'm trying to keep them separated. So I might have a prediction video for a couple games that I like, probably out tomorrow. Probably right before kickoff for the Eagles game. So actually, scratch that. Scratch that. We're going to do just one big video. We're going to talk a couple college games, NFL slate. Just make it one big thing. Let's just treat it as is. It's just going to be a big old mesh for a weekend. So that'll be out Friday. That way, whoever wants to watch has plenty of time to watch it. You know, maybe listen, argue, take a couple advice, and then enjoy the weekend. We got a couple good college games. I know I'm excited to talk Michigan, Oklahoma. In Oklahoma, that's going to answer some questions for a somewhat rebuilding Michigan team, an Oklahoma team that looks to carry momentum they had from last year and build on it in the SEC for year 2. Excited about that. I'm excited to dive into a couple NFL teams, a couple NFL matchups, see what's going to happen. And I'll probably have a reaction video for all of it Monday. Or no, probably Tuesday. Because obviously Monday night game. So probably Tuesday. Dive into everything. So we got a busy weekend. We have a busy weekend. It's going to be great. I cannot wait. It's going to be ecstatic. Thank you for watching. If you're new, hit the like button, subscribe, give us a comment. If you got a certain matchup you want me to talk about for sure, drop it in the comment section below. If not, I'll see y'all Friday.